Yeah. So if you want to delete a disk, first you have to remove from the disk from this VM. So currently you have assigned the disk here, right? Suppose you can see here. So you want to remove this disk. First you have to remove from here. Okay. Take the name of this. Okay. And remove and save. So that way you can removing the disk from this VM. So post removing the disk from VM only you can able to delete. Otherwise you can't delete that VM. Sorry, you can't delete that disk. We go for disks. You can see what are the disk we have currently. So these are the disk we have. Okay, this is the OS disk, and this is the data disk 1, and this is the data disk 2. So now you can see this disk I have removed from the VM. So if you go for the VM, so you can go for the disk. Um, Here you can able to delete directly here. Okay, so you can see this disk is not managed by anything. So if you go for attached disk, what it will show you? See, this disk is managing by this VM. So if it's managing by some other VM, like if it is like managing by some other resource, then this disk is using. So once the disk is using for another resource, then you can't delete that. Okay, so now currently this disk we have removed from this VM. So this disk is not managing. Okay, this disk we can able to delete. Or you can see here, the disk is unattached, then this is not attached to any VM. We go for another disk, you can see here, the disk is attached and this is managed by. So this is managing and this disk attached to this VM. Okay, if these two are there, then you can't remove. No, sir, you can't delete it. Now currently we have removed this from the VM, so you can see that this is unattached and no, none of the resources managing this resource. So you can click delete and yes, so you can delete it. See, now disk is deleted. Let me refresh. Let me open and show you. See, resource is not found. So this is deleted. So it will take some more time to remove in this console actually. Right? It's gone, that 32 GB we have deleted, so it went away. Okay, now if you want to delete this, let me go and try to delete it. See, this is already attached to this VM. So this is the VM is managing, and this is not attached state. So see, you cannot able to delete this VM. Once this key is already attached, so you can't delete it. If you want to detach it, detach that disk, then you can go here. Okay, this is the data disk 100. You can click here and share. And that way you are going to removing that disk from that VM. Okay. It's removed from this disk. Okay, data disk second one also removed, and you can go for this now. You can refresh now. Okay, there is no one for this disk now. Okay, so go and click on that disk. You can see now the managed is removed, and now the VM state this state currently showing unattached. So this disk is not attached to any VM. So this kind of disk only you can able to delete. If it is attached to any resource, then you can't delete these resources. Okay, want to delete this disk also, then you can delete it. So once you remove, now you have removed this disk and you have deleted, right? And suppose you want to add the same disk, you can add it. but after deletion you can't add it. Okay, if it is removed and you have to re-add it, then you can add using attach existing disk. If you click here and if you select here, it will come here, but this disk also we have deleted. Okay, but normally it will show like this. If you just select this, and it will come and it will save, means it will attach by default. You can remove while clicking here. Okay, if you want to attach the existing disk, then you will click on this existing disk and you can select that it what are the available disks, which it will show you here, and which disk you want to attach to this VM as a data disk. You can select this and if you click save, it will attach that disk. Currently this we have deleted, so you can't attach. If you want, I will create one and I will show you. I'm giving as a data disk. I'm changing you. See how we are going to create data disk. I'm showing you. So I don't want a premium SSD. Let me go for selecting standard SSD. Okay, now see the disk name I have given this, and the reason I have selected availability zone, source type. So whenever you are creating a disk from another source, then we are going to select from these sources. You can create a disk also from snapshot and storage block, or from another disk also, or disk restore point also. You can able to create a disk. So that when the restore points, when you're talking with the backup, that time we are going to discuss that. Okay, so currently now we are creating how to create a disk, and then removing a disk from the VM, how to delete, we are talking here. Okay, this way we can creating a disk and we are specifying the size, and I'm going for review and create for that. So now I'm creating a disk. So the created disk I'm going to attach to the existing VM. So this, if someone asks you to attach the old disk, so you now just we have created this disk. Okay, this 4 GB disk we have created. Now see, the disk is created, but it is unattached. None of the VM, none of the resources not managed by this. Okay, if you want to attach this disk, you can attach to current VM. So you can assume that this is a old disk. A user want to attach this disk to this VM. You can attach here. Let me go. Add existing. When you want to add the create, okay. When you want to add a disk from existing, so you can add. If you already have a disk and you want that disk want to add to this VM, then you have to use attach existing disk. Once you click here, it will show you here. So what is this? See, disk 4 GB one. Okay, you are just adding that. While selecting that, you are adding, and you're just saving it. Once save here, you can the disk owner and the disk state and the managed by, it will automatically get changed. So you know disk the disk is attached to this VM, right? If you go here, just refresh, you can see the disk is attached. This managed by, it's not showing still. See, managed by this VM, and this state is attached. Okay, that way you can able to identify the disk status, and this disk is attached to the which VM. Okay, this way you can attach and detach the data disks. Okay, same way if you want to use the existing disk, you want to swap that, you can't remove this actually. So you want to swap, but you can't detach or attach the existing disk. So for that they are giving the swap option. If you want to swap with the existing disk, existing OS disk, then you can use the swap disk here. Okay, okay, if you have any doubts here in the disk removing, attaching.
No.
Okay, so last class we have discussed, we are discussing about diagnostic settings. So we have enabled the diagnostic settings, but we have not discussed what is the diagnostic settings and what is the use of diagnostic settings and why you need diagnostic settings. Um, So what and all we can do the custom uh, things in the diagnostics. So diagnostic setting used to like normally when you log into the VM, so how many metrics do you have to collect the information? Suppose you have an application issue, okay? So they're reporting that application team every day. It's going to like 80 sorry 90 plus, okay? So you want to trying to identify what time and which processes are consuming more during that time. So you can use the performance counters to enable that performance counters to capture that what is the load is taking, like if SQL or infra or CPU memory, what are the metrics you're looking to assume that it's consuming. So you can try to enable that metrics into that in the first one counter, the respective counters. So you can able to like capture the all the data. So based upon that you can analyze that. So what you want to do, okay, based on that it's going to capturing the data. So what are the like processors are consuming the more utilization to causing the performance issue. The same like that we are going to collect the information here. So what in the OS you can able to do, right? Same you can able to do here also, and you have other like you have any agents the data also you can able to collect. So these are the overview actually. Once you enable the diagnostic settings, you can by defaultly these performance counters, CPU, memory, disk, network, these counters data it will collect while enabling. You can see that we are using for the storage account. So those information is going to store in the storage account. What information? This CPU, memory, disk, and network. Every frequency it will come every 5 minutes, or we can set the custom also. Okay. So this information is by default collecting and it's storing into this storage account. This is the code of the storage account. We have created a storage account while enabling this diagnostic settings. So why we have enabled? If you want to enable the storage account, you need a storage account. Why you need a storage account means once you enable this data has to be stored in the storage account. So that's why if you want to enable the diagnostic settings, then it's required to create a storage account. So if you want to enable the diagnostic settings, then you need to create a storage account. Okay, once you created a storage account, by default it will be, you can customize the name, like how the name you want to use to create a storage account you can use, or the suggested based upon a suggested name also you can create. But normally if you have when you're working in the organization, so we have a naming standard for each resource, then you have to follow the naming standards to create a resource. Okay, by default this is the quota, it will come for the this one. And if you want to increase, you can increase also. Okay, so this way you can enable it. Okay, once you enable, so these are the parameter, these are the performance counters, the data it's going to collected into the storage account. So suppose I don't want these defaults, I want some other custom counters also, performance counters. Then you can go here, configure, and here you can see this is the basically the basic information. And this is currently sample rate is 1 minute, okay, 60 seconds. You want to SQL server logs performance counter, all the SQL one you can enable, or ASP dot you can enable. So this way in the basic parameter counters you can enable this. Or if you want to sample, you want to reduce or increase the sample rate, means sample rate in the sense how frequently it's going to pick the value and it is storing there. So sampling is taking the information is taking from these performance counters. And this is the basic. If you want to custom, then you have to click on this custom. You can see the all the what and all you can see in the OS, right? The performance counters, and same all it will be available here. You can see up to 20 pages. So these all how many what are the like performance counters you want, you can enable. Otherwise all the remaining things you can uncheck. So those data only required performance counters data only it will store into the storage account. So this way if you want, say basically this is the basic information. Okay, you don't want the basic and you need addition, then you can go for the custom. And here what performance counters metrics you these counters you need, those only you can select, and remaining things you can uncheck. Okay, that way you can enable the performance control to collect the data, and those data is going to be stored in your uh, storage account. You want to analyze the data, then you can download that data from the storage account, and you can like you can do the the data you can verify that when it's taking time and what logs are being generated, everything you can able to evaluate from the storage account. Okay, so this is the very basic. And same way, if you go for the event, like suppose not I don't want to be um, how we have basic performance counters and you have a custom performance counter, right? Same like that in the server also you have a events. So these are the events is going to collect that system security application. Okay, if you want to custom event logs also you want to capture, and sampling also you want to enable. So these are the you want to audit success also, not only for audit failure, and the information details also you want. So normally information and both you don't need actually. So these information still we have options you can able to do. These are the basics. Okay, the basic the system logs you can able to enable. So all your system logs. So wherever you can see in the once you log into the server, you can see, right? So the application critical errors warnings and security, we have a audit failure, audit success. And if you go for system, you have a critical errors and warning. So like that you can enable, and you have IAS application, you can enable that IAS logs, and you can store in this in one, you can create one container like in folder in that specific storage account. You can segregate that IAS logs into the separate, and if you have any failed request you want to store, you can create separate store container in that storage account, and you can store that. So this way you can enable. Okay, if you want to enable any application, you have other custom other applications you have installed and you are managing, so those also you can do it. Okay, so all .NET kind of application it will be stored here. So these logs it will be going to be stored here. Okay, so this way if you want any user or someone is asked you to request ask and send an email or request to enable the particular VM logs or anything want to store. Okay, normally you can store in the server also, but it's been if you are storing the logs to the server copying, so it will take the performance of the server, it will reduce. Okay, so every 5 minutes or 10 minutes that query or that task scheduler has to run, and it has to fetch and it has to copy, right? So it's been issue with the load compared to load, like every time he has to run the script or task scheduler. So that also will create some kind of performance issue. So that means if you have a Azure, instead of going to do all the stuff in the server level, so you can do from the diagnostic settings, you can do that stuff. So this option it will be using to capture all the performance and logs. Okay, not only for that, if you have any crash dump or full dump memory dump logs also you can configure here. Okay, if you want to the what kind of dump you want, you can do full and many. So if you can add that, if you create that container name and you can select this which one you want, full or min crash dump. So if you have any crashes of the VM, so those logs also you can it will get the dump file will get created in this container where you are selecting this container. It will that which process also you can add it here. Okay, if you add given the storage account, then you can add that. Okay, so that way you can enable the crash dumps and custom logs. Okay, application logs or OS logs, or if you want to enable the performance counter logs, the data you want to collect. So all those things we can do the checks and unchecks which you want and which you don't want, and those all the logs is going to store into this storage account. So if we and we have this all the logs we are going to be stored, and this size is not an effect. If you want, you can increase that disk quota. Okay, here only you can modify this. Okay, okay. And if you have enabled the Azure monitor, see these options are still in preview mode. So in going forward, if you have enabled the Azure monitor, so that Azure monitor alerts the metrics which is collecting the Azure monitoring service, that also you can store into the storage account. So currently it is in preview that. Okay. So this is called diagnostic settings. Okay, so the diagnostic setting is used to not to collect the logs and the performance counter information, and if you have anything custom, if you want to enable, so those all the options we have from the diagnostic settings for that Azure VM. So instead of doing this all stuff in the OS level, you can do from the Azure portal level, and you can store in this data into the storage account. Instead of storing into the VM, you can copy and store into the separately in the storage account. Okay. There's any doubt here?
No doubt, bro.
So this is just when based upon the request. Okay, based upon the request, the if you enable the monitoring also, if you have here, once we have enabled the storage account, this all the information, what are the metrics and logs we have selected, this all is going to be stored in this storage account. So for to assess that, okay, what kind of errors you are doing in that for any purpose like audit purpose, how you can utilize the data is going to be stored here. In the old data you want to verify and going to the future also, you can come back and you can verify this data, these issues when it's occurred, these errors in previously when it came. So that kind of validation and assessment also you can do that. Okay, and this is one the logs. So this is the logs. Okay, so once you enable that login takes access for this VM, so then only you can able to see this logs. Okay, these logs, it's going to be you can able to manage this all logs from the login stick workspace. So when we are going to discuss on the login sticks workspace, we can discuss actually. So once the VM is connected to the login sticks workspace, so the all data, the monitoring data is going to be stored in the login sticks workspace. Okay, from that login sticks workspace, you can able to you can configure the Azure monitoring. So that data is going to collect from the login sticks workspace, or you can, if you that based upon that login sticks workspace retention, so the data will be stored in there, and you can evaluate that like from last 2 days. So my VM this performance how it is, and the network utilization how it is, the memory utilization how it is, and like that you can able to fetch from the like you can verify that using for the capacity management. Okay, suppose from last 80 days or 90 days or 1 month my VM is more than 90%. Okay, so I you how you are going to verify it, so those logs it will be stored in the login sticks workspace. But that you can the same VM, if you click here, if it is enabled, if it is enabled the login sticks workspace, so while clicking here it will take you to login sticks workspace, and there you can directly you can search the data for your specific VM. Specific VM, and you can check the data, and if based upon that how you based upon the request. Okay, so if someone is asked you to verify the data, like what kind of data, so when if you suppose you have enabled Azure monitoring, I'm just giving one scenario. Okay, you have enabled the Azure monitoring. Okay, the monitoring is enabled using monitoring service, so your alert is not triggered due to some reasons, your alert is not fired. So but even though customer is issued that raised a concern that my disk space is low, so that because of that VM is going to hung. So but you when you check that, I didn't receive any incident. So how you are going to verify? Really, it is being disk is full because of now. No, I can able to log in that VM, and I can able to make the some space to run the VM smoothly. Okay, but how we are going to verify this disk space is when it's full? From how many days this disk is consuming more? So those data you can verify from using this logistics workspace. You can verify that data, and you can like you can check that why this monitoring is not fired. So what is the issue? This Azure monitoring, why it's not triggered the alert? So that way you can like analysis is really having the issue with the monitoring or have the VM, or why it's not triggered, or recently just now it's full. Because of that the issue came, so VM was hung, that's why the alert not fired. Or it's from long back that disk utilization was full, but due to some reason notification is failed to trigger the Azure monitor alert. So those information, and you can that way you can investigate in the that day using that Azure Logistics workspace data. So currently when we talk about the Logistics workspace, so we'll discuss more about, so why I have told this information is, so currently we have that. So once we enable the Logistics, currently what you want to know here, once we enable the once you create the logistics workspace, that VMs make sure that to be connected to the respective logistics workspace. So that way you can able to manage and monitor for all your Azure resources in central location. So as a logistics workspace. So that is using for the capacity management or configuring the alerts. We have a number of features once once you connected all the VMs into the logistics workspace actually. So we can use that in a different ways. So that we are going to discuss in the logistics workspace. So suppose once you enable this logistics workspace for this VM, so directly you can check this data into this option only. Once you click here, that dashboard will come here. You can use the question query here, and if you want to get the information or you can do some like a task into the logistics workspace, you need the question query language actually. So by default queries it will be available there only in this logistics workspace. If you want do some based upon your custom queries, then you can find in the Google and you can modify a few things parameters and you can try that. So that way it will use that logistics workspace. If you want to single VM, you want to evaluate directly, you can come in here. So you don't want to filter the using select where VM is equal to. So you don't want to define that parameters. Okay. Instead of going complete log on sticks workspace, directly you can come this logs and you can directly you can fetch the data. So that is the resource based options we have for the log and sticks workspace. Okay. This is connection monitor. So this is for not for the ARM VMs. This is a classic VM. Before it was there is a classic VM. So we are not using any classic VM. So we don't need this currently. Okay. So this is a connection monitor for the classic VMs. Okay. So we are using all ARM VMs, right? So we don't need this. Okay. And this is the workbooks. So what is a workbook? So workbook, just we can create one kind of a dashboard, and we can collect all like performance of the disk or something. We can see here basic workbooks we have here. You can go and see here. The query cannot be compared because some parameters are not set to compare. Currently, we don't have any data to fair flags, so that's why it's coming like this. Like this actually. So if you want in this, once you create a workbook, so it will display that if you want a specific, you can see right, specific counter, so CPU memory or this like this. This is now just we are seeing it only for this VM. Okay, so I'm telling for this, when you use this workbook, so same like that, we can create a multiple VMs like these workbooks, and you can monitor in the single space. So that way it will use for the workbooks. So each resource we have a matrix, right? This already discussed in the earlier. So we have already existing, we have a matrix. Okay, so those we can use in the matrix and we can get the data. But if you want to like details all the information you want to as a dashboard, you have to monitor in the single space. So all the metric values are not, if you create a workbook for single VM, then you can able to see here. Okay, if you want to see same like that, you want to create a multiple VMs, so you can enable, you can create a workbook and you can connect all the VMs to the workbook and you can monitor in the single space. Okay, so that way we can use this workbooks to monitor the for a dashboard, like what are the things you want to monitor in the workbook. So for that you can create it. So for all the VMs or single VM, so based upon the resource you require, so those resources you can monitor in the single space. Okay, for that actually most cases this workbook it will not use for all the cases, so only for instant of time. Okay, suppose like now currently, so what is my all the servers, what is last 10 or maybe I have 500 VMs. Okay, all 500 VMs, what is the top VMs consuming more utilization. So that way you want to verify. So you can create a run book and you can see when you run that, it will show you the current data, but you can't see the previous data. So that kind of requirement we can use for the workbooks. This is like act as a dashboard. You can use a mini dashboard, so you can monitor like a current, what is the current information for the resources. As I said, right, if we connected all the VMs in the workbook, you can monitor the performance, utilization, everything. You can in the single space for all the VMs also you can monitor. Or if you want for a specific VM, you want to add all the metrics on performance, then that also you can do it. By default it will come here. So, for single VM, right? So that's why you can see this is the workbook for this VM. So this is the default VM. So this you can see in the single. Okay. So currently we don't have alert monitoring is not enabled, so you can't see here. If you have alerts configured, here also you can see alerts, and here also you can see alert. What are the alerts which was fired for this VM? So that you can see. So based on the custom option also we have here. Okay. So last 24 hours like this ones. If you have a rule, then only you can see this. You can filter this from last 1 day, 2 days, how many alerts incidents are created for this VM. That we can see here also and here also. So this way it looks like the workbook. Okay, and this is the task. It is there in view actually. So it's not been live. This is using for to some kind of task when you want to do automate. So that we are going to add that into a task. So you see, right, in Windows we have a task, right, task schedulers. Same like that they are going to implement here as well. So the mode is without logging to server, you can able to manage your all tasks from this VM in the Azure portal. So that's why this also, if you want to do some kind of automation for any job or schedule, the service has to be start very frequently. So those we can able to add here, but currently it is not in being like still it is in preview mode. So this export template is the current the configuration of the JSON file of the VM. You can see here. So this is the current JSON script of your VM. So you can use as a template this, okay. And you can modify the values and you can rebuild the VM also. But normally we won't prefer this to use actually. You have to create a new JSON file and change the values and you can do it. So for reference, if you want, you can keep this for this VM, you can keep and you can use this. Okay. And you can download the script here. Okay, and if you want to redeploy of this VM with the same script, and you can do the redeploy here. If you have any issues, the VM is not working, you want to redeploy with using the same script, you can do it here. Okay, this things all it's not it won't come in the operations actually. So I mean to say day to day it won't come this. So just you want to know what is the JSON file, right? So the JSON files looks like this for the VM JSON files that comes as a parameters, variables, and resources. Okay, interview sometimes if you know you said no, I know that how to create a VM using ARM templates or Visual Studio. You can, if you know, then they will ask you what are the components required for that to use that. You have to tell that parameters, variable, resources. So that based upon these parameters only, like these components only, we can define the VM. You can call the VM and you can give the resource names for that. But this is just you want to know, but it's not much important currently. Okay, and these are the very few options are very important up to these options. Okay, and this one resource healthy. So this resource health, so you can see here, it will show you the health of the VM. So it's been healthy or unhealthy. If you suppose your VM you are not able to access, okay, so that time first time you have to check what and all you can check the basic checks. So now we are going to check some kind of troubleshooting, we are going to discuss now. Okay, suppose now your VM is unable to access. Okay, so RDP or not able to RDP. So what basic checks, how the way the process you are going to follow to find the what could be the issue. First, when VM is not running, so I mean to say the VM not able to take the RDP. Okay, first you have to come and see my VM is running or stop. Once you can find that this my VM is running. So currently my VM is running, but still I am not able to take the RDP. Okay, then you go and see what is the my resource. It's been, if you have any issue in the backend, means it's if resource unhealthy means, so the way the currently VM is, and maybe the issue is from the Microsoft end, or it could be something the here is showing available, right? If it is showing unavailable, then it will be, you can see the log here. So what is the reason it is there? It is unhealthy. So like this it will be there. Once you click here, it will give the information here. So like this we'll get this, what is the reason behind that if the resource is unhealthy. So that way you can find some information. So what you want to do and how you are want to going to fix it. If it is there due to that Microsoft the backend hardware failure or something, or host failure or something, normally you can see that when you in the real time you can see. Okay, your the VM due to host failure, the VM is unhealthy. Okay, you have no need to perform any task. So the team is verifying this. He'll going to fix in shortly, and he'll keep you update the status. That way you'll get these messages here. Okay, this is currently, you can see this is initiated by us. User is initiated by us to stop the VM, stop or start the VM. We have initiated these messages. That's why you can see. Okay, so normally you will see that from the Microsoft issues. So whenever the host failures, that time you can see this your VM is unhealthy, and you can see that messages. Okay, you don't need to perform any task. The team is working to fix that issue, the host issues. So that case, some cases it's going to, the VM is going to unhealthy. Okay, that time also you can't able to take the RDP. The chances the VM RDP is not going to work for this. Okay, so this way. So now what we, when you have a request for RDP failure, so now first we are going for the overview, and we are seeing that VM state, VM is running or not. Once if it is running, and we are going to check in the resource health. So VM is healthy or not. So these two ways we are checking, and you can parallel you can try to ping that VM. So the VM is able to ping, or I'm not able to ping. So ping connectivity also you can verify. So these three we can do. Then how we can verify that the VM is in crashed or what is the current state of the VM. So my VM, as we discussed now, my VM RDP is not working, and I have checked that VM is running state, and I see that I try to ping that its pinging is working. Okay, and I went for the resource health and I see the VM is healthy only. So still I am not able to RDP, and I need to verify. So my what is the current state of my VM? You got it? I want to know that my current state of the VM. How you will see that current state of the VM? So normally in the VMware environment, you can see, right, if you go for the open, click on VM and right click and open the open new console of the VM. So it will show you that the state, right, VM state, right, it is being logged in state or booting by a state or whatever it could be. It is a hung screen or black screen. It will show you the VM state, right, when you open the new console.
Yes.
Hello.
Yeah. Yes.
The same way, if I want to know like how my VM is not working, okay, I want to verify how I can verify my VM is in bias state or it's been crashed or it's been black screen, how I can verify. So that you can verify in the boot diagnostics. Okay, once you click on the boot diagnostic, it will show you here. So here it shows the current state of the VM. So what is my VM current state? So my current VM state, I can see here what I can see. My VM is running fine. So my VM is running fine, but still I am not able to RDP. But VM is healthy and VM is running everything, but I'm not able to RDP. Okay. Still, what else you do? Let me go here in the boot diagnostics. Some cases, if you not enable the boot diagnostic option in the when creating a VM, it will show you this option. It won't come by default. Okay, if you are not enabled while creating a VM, this boot diagnostic is not enabled. This screen by default you can't see. That cases what you have to do. That cases you have to go for boot diagnostic settings. If you can enable the enable with the managed storage account, okay, to see that the current state of the VM, or if you have some standard you are following for this VM, then you can use the enable custom storage account, and then you can use that storage account. So okay, so that way you can enable the boot diagnostic storage account option. So currently we are using for the recommendation, so I don't need to select the storage account for this, so I can use. If you have some standard of your organization, you should not use this recommended option. You want to use a custom storage account, then you have to select this and you have to select the storage account to enable the boot diagnostics option. So same option we discussed here. You want to enable the diagnostic settings. Sorry. Here you need a storage account. Same like that. Without storage account, we can enable here. If you need any standard you're following, then you need a boot diagnostic storage account also. You need to create and you have to enable this. Don't confuse the options diagnostic settings and boot diagnostics. Boot diagnostics option used to check the VM current state. Okay. Diagnostic settings is used for to capture and collect the data of that VM, logs and performance counter information. So those data you are in the crash dump, those data you are going to collect in the diagnostic settings. And boot diagnostics, what you are going to say, you will get only for the current VM of the VM state. Current VM state you are going to verify. And moreover, if you want to download the screen also, you can able to download. So currently you are checking that and you want to show the evidence as a customer, right? So if you can take the screenshot here, or if you do want to download that also, you can download that screenshot. Okay, this one it will get download, so that way you can verify it. Okay, and this is the boot diagnostics. Okay, and this is the performance diagnostics. This is required to install the performance diagnostics to run that, to analyze that. Okay, so we don't need this. And this option is reset password. Suppose when you
1 second.
sorry,
I have small doubt. Okay.
hello,
Hello, I'm audible.
yeah, your voice is a little bit low. Yeah, speak loudly.
1 second. I'm audible now.
Yeah.
Okay. So while checking the server health status, you told like we have to check ping status, right? Ping connectivity working or not.
Yeah.
So we can ping from where?
You can ping from, so you can able to connect the VM, right? If you have connected from other VM, you can from that VM to your VM, you
Okay.
can try to check the ping connectivity.
Because actually in our environment we can ping from terminal server. So here terminal server is not available, right?
No, terminal service not there. See,
Yeah, that's fine.
now if
How
you
we can.
how you are going to take RDP now, when you have a based-in service, you can take the RDP from another VM, and that
Mm.
you can, we are using connecting within the once you have a, now we have connected the using the based-in service. Okay,
Mm.
once you connected the based-in server, from that server to another server, you can able to connect, right?
Correct.
Using MSTS, you can able to connect.
Mm.
Okay, this is based-in service only when you want to connect the VM in the over the based-in service or the internet.
Mm.
Okay,
Okay.
once you log into the VM using the based-in service, from that VM directly you can take the MSTS within the VMs. It will work.
Okay.
Once you logged in this VM, okay, now current VM, this VM you have logged in. Okay, using
Okay.
from this VM you can able to connect other VMs within this server.
Yeah.
That way
So
you are doing that.
there we can ping, right?
Here you can't ping.
I mean, once we logged into this server.
Logged into any server in your Azure VM, any Azure VM, from that VM you can able to ping, but not from the without we logging to the any VM you can't ping.
Yeah, that is so. For example, we have VM1, VM2. VM1 is not responding. We can log into VM2 and we can ping from VM to VM1. So if it is pinging, it's fine. If it is not pinging, so like that we have to check, right?
Yes.
So in case if it's not pinging,
If it is not pinging, there is no connectivity. So the VM is completely down. Why? What is the use you are going to test the ping connectivity?
mm,
Not only working, it's not only not working for the RDP or
mm,
completely VM going to down. So how is going? What is the use of we are going to test the ping connectivity? The
mm,
VM are up and running, or completely down, or only RDP is not working. So sometimes VM is pinging. Okay, you are not able to RDP.
mm,
So then RDP connection is not working, but my VM is up. When VM is up, then only it will ping, right?
yeah,
That way you are going to be segregating that how what is the issue. For that you are testing that is a ping connectivity, and if it is ping connectivity is there and still you are not RDP, then you can, that case you can find that like my VM is up, but even though how you are going to check that VM is my up after ping connectivity, that's why I'm telling you, want to see that current state of the boot diagnostic, then you that after that you can go further here. So here you again we can confirm that after pinging connectivity, my VM is pinging and I can see the current state of my VM is up, but RDP only is not working. So that case you have to check only connectivity of the RDP. So what could be the issues for if VM is not connecting? Can you give two cases?
so one case is
Hmm.
within the server, remote connection will be stopped. Remote desktop. Okay. We
Mhm.
can allow remote desktop, we can deny remote desktop.
Mhm.
And second thing is
Mhm.
uh, maybe RDP connection issue in the Azure portal.
No, I am trying to connect with one server to another server. I don't want to connect from the. I've already, as you said, that I have a two VMs. Okay,
Mm.
from VM1, I'm trying to take VM1. I'm logged in via base tier. Okay,
Mm.
and that VM I'm trying to take the RDP also. It's not working. You got it? My question.
Yeah, maybe VM is powered off.
Powered up. Then my VM is pinging. Okay, this is the case.
Yeah, the remote settings not done. Maybe firewall not yet complete. Firewall settings not done in the.
Okay. So you can verify the firewall setting also, it could be called if firewall is disabled or enabled. So based
Yeah.
on say VM will ping. Okay, VM will up, but RDP connection is not working. So
Mm.
maybe firewall connection or maybe NLA issue, whatever it could be. Okay. Otherwise there is a RDP certificate, maybe session certificate could have been expired.
Mm.
So like it could be it could be these are the causes normally it will happen. Okay, so that how you are going to fix it. So now Mike, I have given the cases. So up to now I have what and all I have verified in the Azure portal.
Okay.
I have verified my resource is running, resource is available, and then I pinged that VM is able to ping. Then I went for the resource resource health also available. Then I went for the boot diagnostic. There I can also see the current state. So my first level of troubleshooting process is completed. So now I figured out issue is only for the RDP connection. So now how I am going to fix it? Now I don't know which issue is there. Now what I have to do? I have to log into another server where you are trying to ping test, right? There you can use for the MSTS and try with the IPR host name. If it is an NL error, directly it will give you the NL error issue. Okay. If that way you can one issue will get sorted out. Okay. If it is not the issue, then what you are going to do? If maybe we don't know, we are going to suspect now. Then what you have to go? You have to go for run command, because of you are not able to control remotely, right? So this is my VM is having issue. So you can go here, you can reset that RDP settings. So that way you can renew that new RDP certificate that you can try. Okay. And second one, you can try here. If what is the current my firewall settings? Okay.
Okay.
You can verify what is the working VM firewall settings. You can verify, and here you can run that firewall command here, and you can verify here also what is my current firewall settings. If it is a mismatching, you can do that. You can update here. So that way you can change the firewall settings. You can fix that issue. So that's why when VM is up and running, but you are not unable to RDP, so you can use this run command from the portal only. You can try to troubleshoot. Okay. This is the one method. Okay, I'm telling you the ways how we are going to identify how you want to look for the options to troubleshoot. These are the one ways. Okay, and now we have a serial console here. So using the serial console, I told you you want to enable if you want to use this to enable, we have to that EMS has to enable, and moreover this boot diagnostics you have to set as a storage account, then only it will work. That serial console option. Okay. So this is the prerequisite to enable. So what is the serial console? Serial console is, this is the one more option to troubleshoot. Now just here in the boot diagnostics, only you can see the current state of the VM. But without logging, using the command prompts, you can able to log in here. I will show you how to log in here using serial console. So here you can see, right? Now this way you can able to log in. You have to
Okay.
CMD. You can directly log into the server here. Okay.
Mm.
Okay. Now once you enter the CMD, it will create a channel here. Okay. This is now it's a channel. So what you have to enter the channel. CH space. Actually, even it's not working my laptop. Actually, key is running off. That let me try to this command then ch hyphen okay, this way once you enter, that is the command. Okay, once you enter ch space hyphen si hyphen 01 is the our channel number, right? So that's why I enter that. And once you click enter, it will ask you the username. Okay, what is my username? You can try with a domain account or local account. So that way you can identify one more if domain account is working or local account is working. You can verify while logging here. You can try with the first domain account. If it is not working, then you can try with the local account. So currently our VM is not there in the domain, right? So I'm trying with local account. Azure admin. I'm giving enter. So I don't have any domain, right? So I'm giving again enter. So I'm using the password of my local account. Okay.
Okay.
I'm entering my password. I'm clicking. So now you are where you are in the C drive, Windows and System 2.
Yeah.
You can verify. Okay. My VM is logging or not also. Okay. Here also you can change the PowerShell. Now this is the command mode. Okay. And you can change it to your PowerShell also. See, now it is in now in my PowerShell mode. If you want to change the modes also, you can change here. You can try this way also to fix that based upon error. Maybe currently we don't have errors, right? So based upon your like issues on the connection, that RDP issue, and what is the error, maybe certificate error or the firewall. So directly you can log in. Okay, here only RDP is not working, right? But you can now you can able to log in the VM inside the VM. You can able to log in using the serial console, and you can try the troubleshooting here also using commands. What are the commands you use normally in the server, right? So all the commands you can use here. If the commands not there is a script also you want to do, then you can change it to PowerShell mode and you can copy that script and you can run it. So that way you can able to troubleshoot this. So normally that VM issues. So that way it will be going to help you for the serial console. So serial console also is very important when you want to fix the issues when kind of such kind of in business spaces. I mean in the BU operations. So this also you want to know how to open the channel, how to log in, and how to change the modes and how. After that you log in, you know that what are the commands you use for, right?
Yeah.
In the server same commands on there is nothing. Okay. So this way you can try to troubleshoot. So based upon the issues, we are going to troubleshoot and fix the issues. Okay. And you want to change and you can click the command CMD, then again change the mode. Okay.
Yeah.
Host name, IP. So this way you can do all the commands, part of the commands you want to do. Same thing you can do in this console also. So this way you can able to log into the VM. You can do troubleshooting. If you want to change the registry, whatever you want, you can do here.
Okay.
Okay. So that way it is going to use for this serial console to use the to one channel to troubleshoot the VM issues. Okay. And now this way you can normally use to troubleshoot the issues. Okay, how many options I told you? So first you have to check the VM state, is it running or not, or failed, whatever it is. Then you have to go and see the connectivity, and then you go for a resource health. Then you can go for the boot diagnosis, you can see the VM state. Then you can go for the serial console after enabling the storage account. Okay, if you want serial console has to work, then you have to go for the boot diagnostics and you have to enable the custom storage account you have to give. Then only it will allow you to do this serial console to open. Okay, that way you can enable and you can do the you can log into the server using serial console. Okay, this
So
way
and also we can do reset RTP settings.
you can do the reset RDP settings, everything you can do that. You can do directly in the run command. Okay, in between you can use the run command before coming the serial console. If you identify, so without logging to the serial console, you can try to run in the run command also. We have other here, right? Run command also have resetting option certificate, and you have a run command. There also we can use same commands you can use, right? Do you remember last class we have run the
Yeah, correct. We run.
so there also you can run the commands, you can try to fix it. Okay.
Okay.
But some commands is not working. Maybe it's not responding the VM, it's taking long time. So if you want to more, you want to like the on the plane you want to check and verify, then you can log into the serial console also. So these are the number of modes, the way you are going to identify the issue and troubleshooting path section.
Okay.
Okay. And this way, okay. And now we are going to resetting password. Suppose you have domain account passwords, you can't reset. Okay, going to really only this is a local account. Your the VM local account, right? You created a VM, you have given the password, username, password, right?
Yeah.
That username password maybe maybe you forgot. Okay, or you didn't remember some cases. Okay, if domain account is not working, okay, now you don't have other option, so you can come and you can reset your username password here.
Okay.
Okay, so just you can apply that username password and reset. But that when the VM agent, you remember that VM agent,
Yeah, you told me if it is
that
running or not.
is not in ready state also. This it won't work. Reset password also it won't work because of the VM agent. It's the main the communicator to operate your VM. If that VM agent is not responding, then you can't perform maximum task. It won't allow you to perform. Run command also it won't work. Okay, reset password also it won't work. Backups also it won't work. And some it won't work for RDPs also. So the VM agent, first we have to go for check the VM agent also when RDP is not working. So VM agent also you have to verify. Okay.
Oh, in case of VM agent is not running,
Mhm.
what
So
we can do at that?
yeah, VM agent is not running. So you can try to reboot the server or start and stop.
Okay.
If that it didn't work, then you can use the run command to start that service. That
The
is
service name inside the server?
normally Linux means WA agent, it will come. Windows Microsoft monitoring agent.
Microsoft monitoring agent. Okay. Okay. If it is Linux, WA agent.
Yeah, WA agent.
Hmm.
So these are the, that is which I told you, know, that is the service. The Microsoft monitoring agent is the WWA is
Hmm.
a service. You can search with the monitoring Microsoft monitoring agent service.
Ah, okay.
The service is, maybe you can try to start that service using a run command. Okay.
Hmm. Yeah, we can start.
In that, you can try to do that. If you want, normally when restart the VM or start and stop, it will fix that.
Hmm.
If sometimes maybe if hung, right,
Hmm.
maybe in the agent is not showing, it's showing ready, but still having some issue, you can try to restart the service.
Okay.
Okay, and that way you can try to fix it. And the reset password, you can do change the local admin password of that VM. And now this is a read apply and apply. So this is also very important actually. This also they'll ask you in interview question.
Okay.
So what is the read apply and reapply in the sense? So we have discussed previously. So when you choose that option, the available reset or available azure, the VMs it will be in the three copies based upon the available set option, available zone option. Okay, if you're not selected, there is a standalone VM. Okay,
Yeah.
so somewhere your VM is hosted in some hypervisor. Okay, then some on one of the host. Okay, so wherever VM is running, suppose a VM, all you currently what are the stuff you did it, right? Part of VM RDP is not working. You currently did all the things, still is not working. Maybe sometimes the host fails also, the VM maybe cannot be responded to perform this all troubleshooting. Maybe if you try, you are unable to RDP, doing some host level issues also. For that one, you can try to using this redeploy option. Once you redeploy, where the current my VM, so this VM where it's currently is running, right? From that VM to, you can move from that host to another host. Means, so currently, let me go. So my VM is running in this host. So you think this is the host, okay? You think this is the host, and this is my VM. Okay, this is my VM. So now I, due to some issues, the RDP is not working. So I'm thinking because of my host, this is the host, okay? Sorry, this is the host I told, right? This is the host, and this is the VM is running. So I don't want to, I want to test it to move this VM to another host, okay? So you can do that time. You can move this VM to another host also, like a migration. You are moving that one host, the VM you are moving from one host to another host, okay? While clicking this, your VM will automatically move from one node, one host to another host. So your VM will come here. Okay, your VM will come. This is another host. Okay, so your VM will move from here to here.
Okay. Okay. So actually, you told like in part of troubleshooting. So in normal stage, if VM is running good, so at the time, if we want to move from one host to another host, if you click on redeploy, in that case, VM should be on or off.
No, it's not when VM is not running. So there is some issue. Your VM is not working properly as expected.
Mm,
Okay, that time you can try to deploy. So
mm,
maybe I suspect that there is because of host issue. So that
okay.
time I don't want to be VM to be run this host. So
Mm,
I'm looking to migrate to fix my issue VM issues. To fix that, I'm moving my VM to one hypervisor host to another hypervisor host. But we don't know in the backend where it's running. But while clicking that from current host to another host, it will move by automatically.
okay. Apart from troubleshooting, we don't touch this
So
option,
we
right?
don't touch. Yeah, when we have VM issues, then only we'll touch this.
Ah, okay. I got it. Then why?
That time only we'll touch.
Okay.
And what is reapply?
Mm, mm,
So reapply means you are just rerun the VM provision. Means like suppose what cases we'll do this reapply in the sense. Suppose your VM is in fail state. Here the state is currently is running, right?
mm,
State will get sometimes failed due to some you've done the VM resize. I told you, right? Well, why I told you to stop the VM in the sense. So these are the issues will come. You done the recently the maybe yesterday you have done the VM resize. So
mm,
after that you didn't observe that time maybe you could have running, okay, and after some time maybe the VM changed to fail state.
mm.
After performing the activity, the PM provision state it will state shows that a failed state. So that time you will get the error here. The VM is failed state. Okay, and here also you can see the failed. So
Mm.
that time you have to you can redeploy the VM. So once it will do the redeploy means with the same set of configuration. What is your current VM configuration?
Mm.
Same set of configuration. Your VM going to reprovisioning. So the VM just refreshing the configuration settings of your current VM. It's not going to change anything of this particular VM. Okay,
Okay.
it's going to refreshing the configuration settings. So
Refreshing configuration settings.
yeah, it's just refreshing the
Mm.
configuration settings, and it will try to change the provision state as a success. So when
Okay.
you can see the provision state is a fail, right? So that time only we'll do the reapply, so that it's going to refreshing the configuration state, and it will just VM will get redeploy. Means sorry, reapply the with current settings only.
Mm.
Again, reapply the current VM settings. So already we have a settings, okay, everything VM having, but there is a issue. The current state VM is failed. Okay,
Mm.
for that one, we are reapplying the current setting only. Again, we are triggering the reapply. So if you have anything fail errors, it's going to fix that.
Okay.
For that, we are doing the reapply option. We are using
Okay.
this.
Mm. Mm.
Okay,
Fine.
and so normally they will ask you to what is the difference between reapply and redeploy. They will ask you.
Mm.
When the VM virtual machine is in fail state, that time only we are going to reapply.
Mm.
When the VM is not able to connect some issues, some VM, that time only we are going to reapply. Okay.
Okay.
And this one connection troubleshoot. This is one option. If you want to check the connectivity of the VM, suppose my IP. Okay. And let me RDP double 389. Want inbound, I have to check. So you can check that. Okay. So it will check the status if it's connectivity or it's been any connection breaks. Also, you can verify in the connection troubleshooter. You can check the connectivity of that VM.
Okay.
So this way you can check the inbound connectivity, outbound connectivity also. From
Okay.
inbound, outbound connectivity, how it is there, you can verify with not only for this port. Normally, if you go for the application teams, right, it
Mm.
will tell you like the connectivity having the issue from the server.
Mm.
So that time you can check that what port you want from the inbound port or outbound connection port you want to having issue. So you can check this and you can tell me. So we don't have outbound connectivity or inbound connectivity is working fine with the specific port what you are defining.
Mm.
So you don't have any issue. So that way you can check the troubleshooting connection and you can give the evidence.
Okay, inbound connection means so whatever the connection to this VM. Outbound means whatever the connection from this VM.
Yeah, no, no. From the inbound, this port is
Mm.
connecting is established or not. Its connection is enabled or not. Outbound means from this VM to other VMs, the connection is allowed or not.
Mm.
See, this connectivity is allowed means this RDP connection is allowed inbound.
Okay.
So normally we have inbound connectivity, outbound connectivity. So for the firewall, so you have two kind of traffics. One is inbound traffic and one is outbound traffic.
Yes, correct. Okay.
So you are going to verify that. So my inbound connectivity is success. It's been allowed. Okay, nothing blocking here. So I'm saying like this outbound also you can test it. Okay, that way you can verify the other way method when you can give them the see here we are not doing anything, right? So you
Yeah.
do then server also tell using telnet or you can verify that. From here also you can check that. That's what I'm doing.
Okay. Okay. Got it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this is the what connection troubleshoot, and this comes as a new support request. Okay, so whenever you have some issues, so what and all options I told you here, so even though there has a some issues, still you are having a challenges to fix that issues and you want to need some more help, so that case you can go with the Microsoft here with raising a case here. I'll kick in here.
Okay.
So once you click here, you can go here and it will tell you like it has been any subscription or service and subscription billing quotas or subscription management or technical or billing. So always we are going for technical, right? So here we are going to select the within which subscription we have. Suppose wherever you are VM having issues, you are raising for each service, okay? Each service you have these options.
Mm.
Request. Raise every service, NIC, subnet, virtual network, VM, storage, every service have this option. So
Okay.
which service you have a request. So while clicking there, you can directly you can take you'll get the details like which subscription. So directly it will come. There's a virtual machine was source type. See this information by default. So you can define that what is my unable to VM.
For this request, they'll charge.
This is based upon that how your like based upon your issue. Okay, this is sorry, this is based on your subscription model. So you have enterprise, right? So they will give some kind of support actually, and pay as you go they have some kind of basic support they will give you, but it will not be in high priority for all the cases. Okay, and but they'll pay as you go also they have some kind of how many hours it will
Okay.
be free for you to support. So if it is filled, then it will be a charge. And if you want to, some cases you want to go convert as a enterprise, or you want to hourly billing, you want to set for these cases. So there is a different concept. Okay. And here we can, if you want to while writing, you can tell that and what is the problem of summary. And here you can select that what is the issue. So my VM is unable to connect. Okay. And what is the subcategory? Failure connecting using RDP or SSH. Okay, so that way I can go for next. Okay, here it will show you the recommended solution. You can try it. Normally already we try to fix everything. Okay, we that cases. Okay, but if you're connecting guiding troubleshooting, okay, I don't want to change. Okay, now you want to go for additional, we are going a chart. Chart with us are using ask our community, or you can go for the chart also, you can go. So normally this it will ask, and if you have a plan that is a test account, right, you won't get, then it will ask you to additional information mm, uh, what is your contact number details, what
Email ID and
type of case it is, a priority one or priority two, and
okay,
you
okay.
raised, and those information it will ask you. So that information you can see here, then you can go for preview and create. That's it. That way you can raise a case, and you can you will get an email. So who is engineer is assigned, what is the case number, and you can follow up with him to fix that issue for further issue. Okay, that is one. And if you want to see cases also, you can see in Azure portal. Okay, for support. We go for help and plus support. Here you can see the all support requests, what and all requests you have raised, right? So those
Yeah.
from long back, like you can see here, how many days, you can see all history previously, how many cases you have raised, and support plan. What is your support plan of this? You can see here,
Okay.
and this is like a resource health, your any services, it's been Microsoft. For that specific reason, if you have already having issues, that you can see. Normally, you can see is how many requests it was, support request was raised for the month or something. If information someone asked, so for last 30 days, how many tickets was raised from,
Okay.
that you can give you.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the support plan for the subscription. Okay. We want to, so the currently we have basic. So these are the standard.
Yeah.
So this way, the scope of support it will be very okay. You asked me, right? I think maybe you are not there in the early time, right? Like
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
how
Disk
delete, right? Yeah, I told.
by production. Yeah. Tried.
No, no, no. I told you morning. I think you are not there in the class. You are not joined. So before you are going to delete, you have to remove from here. Okay.
Okay.
You have to detach here.
Mm,
Okay. Then you have to save.
mm,
Then you have to go for disks. Then you only you can detach. You can then only you can delete it.
mm,
Then you can go for this.
mm.
You can see this, then you can delete it. Okay, so now this is my, I have just now detached.
Mm,
Detached that it will change as a owner none, so it is not attached to anyone.
mm.
Then only you can delete it, otherwise you can't delete it.
Okay. Okay. I
No,
understand.
no owner here.
Mm,
You go with this disk, it
mm,
will give you as a unattached. So
mm.
once the disk is unattached state, then only you can delete it directly here. You can see there is no manager managed by here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Mm,
Suppose now if you want to attach the existing disk, how you are
mm,
going to want to existing attach the existing disk,
mm,
click here,
mm,
you select here,
mm,
you save here. That way you can add the existing disk. We
mm.
talk about create and adding a new disk, and here adding a existing disk.
Okay.
Okay, this way you can add, and now it's been added this disk. Okay, now after adding you can go and see, now it's, the state is changed here. See, attached
Gotcha. Mm,
here, on this one also you change as a managed file.
yeah. It will.
See, managed.
Yeah.
Attached. So this time if you won't get the delete option, you can't delete it. Okay.
Mm,
Now you can go and again here, you can remove here. Okay. And you can save here. So you can get the delete option here. You can see now it is in
yeah. Yes. Okay. Mm,
okay. And this is one way. Then you can delete. Sorry, you can delete it here. Okay.
yeah.
But I want to show you one more option. Let me attach you here again. So now attached, okay.
Mm.
Remember, I told you there is a hosting for host for caching policies.
Yeah.
So here we have a see each disk we have a host caching policies. We have a
Mm.
one is none, read only, read write. So what is this hosting policy? Oh, sorry, host caching. So this is just to get the high performance. So now currently we have a read only. So when you have a read only, so this disk allows maximum read only. It will give the high preference to read only high ups. Okay, not for the read connections, but it will give you a read and write. Okay, but the high preference is will going to give the read only. So more high ups it will going to use for the read only and less the high ups is going to use for the write. Okay,
Okay.
if you select this read write, so it will going to distribute the balance.
Mm.
You change
So
the read rate and you have to save, then only it will applicable this read rate host caching policy for this disk. Okay, you're asking something.
yeah, in real time. So most probably we'll use read only or read and write both for all disks. I mean OS, data disk and all.
Normally, this is the two policies will based upon the request. Okay. Normally, recommended policy is none. The recommended policy is none in the sense. This is the best performance will give the based upon the operations. It will take you that how you need for this disk. So this based upon the request, it will change the configuration. I mean to say, if you read whenever it read is right, it is there. It's taking automatically balancing. So this is the none option. You can choose it. Normal VMs. Suppose there is a some kind of VMs like a database. There is a, two databases. One is the primary database and one is secondary database. Okay. So primary database you can set as a read write because of you're going to read and write also. The data is going to write and it's going to make the read connection also. Okay. And in the second database, we don't they have set for the only get the request from the second database. So the data is not going to write there. Okay, that secondary database, we can that database drive we can set as a read only. So that comes as a based upon the request. So it's a database or applications. So that is going to change when they have some kind of issues with the high ups of that application team. Then you can suggest that because of you are not getting more high ups based upon this request. So you can change it as a if you want to rewrite more then balanced, then you can use for this.
Okay.
Yeah. And if you want to only read, then you can select as read. And if you want a better performance, then you can use for the none option to get the better performance. So not like this one, select this, and you can go for click and save. It going to save that configuration what you did the changes. Okay, it was changed. Now you can see change it. So like this, you can change OS disk or any data disk also. You can able to change and you can modify the configuration. Okay. So this is called a host caching. Okay, these three policies. Now let me remove here and I will show you delete. Okay, I have removed here, but I didn't save it. Yeah, let me save it. It's updated. Let me go for the disk and let me refresh it. Yeah, change it to unattached. Correct. Now we can click on delete. It will get deleted. Yeah, it's deleted, right? Yeah, it's deleted. If you can click, we can move from here. This console. See,
Okay.
deleted now.
Yeah.
Okay. So this disk you have a owner disk, so you can't delete until you detach from this VM. This is the VM, right? And
Mm.
detach this disk from the VM and delete this disk. Okay. So without detaching the disk from the VM, so you can't delete the disk. So directly you can't go and delete the disk. Like if you go on here, you can't delete the disk. Can't delete the disk. Okay. So any questions? So from this we have completed the VM service. Okay.
Okay.
So if you anything you can ask me the VM service. So tomorrow let me start a storage account.
Storage accounts.
Yeah. So we are going to discuss about the what is a storage account and what are the different types of how to create, how to mount, how to increase the storage account space. Okay, what are the different types of accessing the storage account? So these are the things we are going to discuss.
So VM services fine, bro. Actually, so explain very clearly. Okay, I'll go through once again.
Yeah.
If you have any doubts, I'll come back with you.
Yeah, okay. Okay. Other people, Chandra, are you? Suman, are you fine?
Yeah, bro.
Okay, so you don't have any. If anyone using this account, if you want access, I'll provide you that email IDs. Okay, you can use it, but once you use, don't stop. Okay, yesterday I see that VM is running state. Stop immediately. Okay, don't anyway. Otherwise, it's already we have completely used so much cost. We have not done lab it.
Still, how many days pending for us? Yeah, bro. So how we can see remaining days and remaining cost, how much we used here?
Once you refresh, it will show you what they call here. Once you log in, it will show. Once you refresh, also it will show. Okay. Okay then.
VM is running, it will take cost, right?
It will be a cost. Yes.
Okay. If VM is in stop state, you don't give any cost.